Aimee Betro has been extradited back to the UK just last week, Thursday. If you've heard about this case, then this is the video for you, because I'm going to give you a bit of an update. If you've never heard about this case, then this is also the video for you, because I'm going to go into the case. Let's go. So it all started in July 2018 in Birmingham, England. Mohammed Aslam and his son Mohammed Nazir, they got into a violent fight with Sikandar Ali, a clothing shop owner. What happened inside that shop is not entirely clear, but it left Aslam and Nazir with a deep grudge against Sikandar. It was quite violent, and they didn't just want payback, they wanted him dead. That was how serious it was. Now, at some point, they crossed paths with Aimee. We don't know how they got to know Aimee. We don't know how she got involved. Did they reach out through mutual contacts? Did somebody introduce her as the person who can handle this kind of thing? I don't know. There are so many gaps in this story. So first of all, before we talk about what happens in this case, let's talk about Aimee. She lived in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, where her friends and family described her as a kind, social woman. She loved music, festivals, she posted selfies online. She seemed like somebody who had a pretty normal life, just, everyday life. But was that just on the surface? Because what happens later in her life is just crazy. We don't know if she was struggling financially. We don't know if she was in a bad relationship or just trying to escape something in her life. No idea. There's no evidence that she had any experience as a hit woman. No evidence yet. No military background, no ties to crime. It just makes you wonder, what made her think she could pull this off? Or did she think that she wouldn't be caught, she wouldn't have to pay for her crimes? I don't know. But in August 2019, Aimee flew from Chicago to Manchester, England. When she landed, she acted like she was on vacation. That woman enjoyed herself in England. She bought a Mercedes. She stayed in nice hotels. She moved between Birmingham, Brighton, Derby, and London. Proper tourist. On social media, she looked like somebody just living her best life. She was sipping cocktails, taking selfies, going to all the tourist destinations, even attending the Transmission Music Festival in London's Crystal Palace Park. But the reality was much darker. Aimee wasn't sightseeing. She was preparing for what she thought would be a quick and easy job. On September 7, 2019, she made her move. Wearing a hijab to disguise herself, she arranged to meet Sikandar Ali. She pretended to be interested in a car that he was selling. When Ali showed up, Aimee pointed a gun at his head, but when she pulled the trigger, the gun jammed. And this was Ali's chance. Ali ran and he did not look back. Aimee didn't even try to chase him. You think maybe, okay, that'll be the end of it. She had failed at this. Maybe her brain would reset and let her know, okay, this was a bad idea. But instead of fleeing, Aimee came back the very next day, September 8, 2019. This time, she stood outside Sikandar's house and fired 3 shots. She didn't hit anyone, but it was clearly a message. I'm not finished yet. And then came the text. She started harassing him, sending him taunting messages, and she sent messages to his dad as well, saying things like, stop playing hide and seek, and where are you hiding? Just unsettling messages. It wasn't just a hit anymore. It was personal. It was almost like she was playing a twisted mind game with them now. By September 9th, 2019, just 2 days after the botched hit, Aimee got on a plane and she fled the UK. She flew back to Chicago. She flew back to Chicago. Meanwhile, British authorities were closing in on Aslam and Nazir, the people who ordered the hit, the men who had hired her. They were arrested and they were charged with conspiracy to murder. In June of 2024, both of them were convicted, with Nazir also being found guilty of firearm offenses, because that's how Aimee got the gun. But Aimee, she had disappeared. Nobody knew where Aimee had gone. For years, she evaded capture. We now know she spent at least 3 of those years hiding in Armenia. It's hard not to wonder, what was her life? What was her life like in Armenia during that time? Did she miss home? Did she feel guilty? I don't think she was reaching out to her family in that time. Was she relieved to have just escaped? Was she having a good time? Nobody knows yet. When Aimee's name hit the news, her family and friends were blindsided. They had no idea. Her mother, Jane Johnson, spoke out publicly, begging Aimee to stop running. She's got to pay the price now. That's what her mom said. Friends described Aimee as so kind, the kind of person who wouldn't hurt anyone ever. Well, I guess they were wrong. Maybe Aimee had many sides to her. I don't know. They were calling her the nicest person in the world. Obviously not. Clearly the Aimee that they knew was different from the Aimee involved in this plot with these other two men. In June 2024, Armenian authorities arrested Aimee after an extradition request from UK police. By January of this year, 2025, she was sent back to the UK just last week. Now she'll have to answer the questions we've all been asking. Why? Like, why? Why take the job? What was going on in her life that made her think this was a good idea? Was she broke? Was she in debt? Was she just looking for excitement in her life? There's so many questions. There's so many questions that everybody has to ask Aimee. And this case isn't just about a crime. It's about the human side of the story, because Aimee isn't a cold-blooded killer in the traditional sense. She's someone who got pulled into something dark and dangerous, and I'm curious. I can't wait for the case. Like, I would really like to hear her reasons. Now she has to face the consequences. Was it desperation? We still don't have all the answers, but one thing is for sure: this story is far from over.